Right. Hi, everyone. I'm David Fleischman. I'm the Executive Director of 4Cs, and this is a local Catalyst grant update. The first slide is about grounding. How did we get here? So for some of you, this will sound familiar. Some will be familiar, and for some, it may be new. So this whole Catalyst grant began with California Jobs First, which is a statewide workforce initiative. It used to be SURF, deciding that they were going to fund programs and do it in different sectors. There are 13 regions across California that Jobs First works with. The Bay Area Jobs First Collaborative is the 9 Bay Area counties. So the 9 Bay Area counties. So the High Road Roundtable discussions were multi-sector, and the purpose of the High Road Roundtable discussions were to see if there were sectors that were ready to take advantage of planning grants that were made available by Bay Area Jobs First. The idea of these planning grants was to take promising practices, programs, services, and bring them from a pre-readiness phase to a readiness phase. And that readiness phase means that they would be in a place, they would be packaged, they would be assembled so that they would be ready to get funding for actual implementation. That they would identify these promising practices or programs that may be able to be replicated or regionalized. Um, so that is the planning part, and everyone who heard the meeting before, you heard that a lot. Um, and there is an activation plan that the Bay Area Jobs First Collaborative has put together. As I will say about our Catalyst work plan, as was said about the activation plan, it's extraordinarily ambitiously large in scope. So not the same amount of progress or attention even could be put to all the things that are in it, but it gives us a place to put together the kinds of work that's happening in the counties, again, that um, it may lend itself well to apply for future funding for implementation. Next slide, please. Wow, fancy. All right. Thank you, Elmer. So a few sectors identified themselves as being ready to move forward, and early childhood was one of them. And so the High Road Roundtables broke into sector discussions, and the early childhood sector group met over many months and discussed uh, what could happen, what we could get together, what was needed. And at the end of that, the Santa Clara County Office of Education submitted an application with a work plan and a budget for $1.5 million to engage in this planning. And they were awarded that planning grant. Included, uh, and that's where many of you here on the call even, that was part of the application that you signed, sponsorship and partnership and support for, that was submitted, that ended up getting this grant. The work plan, again, is Santa Clara's, that was being edited till the very last minute. And the budget included a $262,000 line item each for the Alameda County Office of Education, First Five Contra Costa, and 4Cs of San Mateo County. It was again, it was a line item, it was a placeholder. Uh, Being subgrantees, there were not specific, what we've been talking about now and what we'll talk about in a second is the specific work that the counties will do. What we did all acknowledge is that it is the Santa Clara County Office of Education that is responsible for the work plan overall, and San Mateo through 4Cs, and others, and I'll tell you about that. First Five Contra Costa and Alameda County Office of Education would be in a supportive role around the activities to do with the work plan, and for the specific funded deliverables. Okay, so I'm not, I will make sure this document is available. Some of you, again, have seen it as part, get back there. Some of you have already seen it. Elmer, could you let Christine and Michelle in, please? Thanks. All right. So, the work plan that was submitted as part of the Catalyst grant, it is again huge and too broad to get into in detail here, but I want to highlight a few things and say that it does very closely mirror the activation plan that was talked about at the last meeting that the Bay Area Jobs First Collaborative has for the entire 9-county region. So the Santa Clara County Education Work Plan has these 8 areas identified as places that there will be work done. And again, the work done is taking work that's happening and priorities that's happening in the counties and putting it together so that it can be uh, continued beyond when this grant ends in September of 26. So I highlight regional coordination because that is where we are now. Um, Even though this grant ends in under a year, we are still very much at the beginning. So part of regional coordination, which Santa Clara is taking the lead on that, includes building the steering and advisory committees, which again, we will, as other counties, Contra Costa Alameda, and will help them to get that established. And then we have to get the county MOUs in place, which is still not happening. It hasn't happened yet, but is near finalizing. Um, and then on it goes. Funding and advocacy landscape. That is something that San Mateo will be, is very again well positioned to contribute to the regional brain trust and work plan because we've been doing so much of this with the budget because we have a fiscal landscape. So we'll be able to contribute to this regional group, and this will happen again through the Santa Clara County Office of Education and the steering committee. And I will make sure that the work plan gets re-sent out to people. It's the same one that went with the application, as I said, but has been updated in terms of the dates when deliverables are done. Okay, let's keep going. All right. So 4Cs, as part of this consortia and with the $262,000 is going to be facilitating some funded work and also participating in that unfunded support role. So the funded work under Catalyst, one of the things that I want the money to support is fetch-in support for pilot or pre-pilot activities. Um, are you able to, do you need to take my slides away? Um, okay. So, as you know, fetch-ins have been a topic of conversation and planning for quite some time, began with UPK, continued in different groups and focus groups, and with a project through the Leadership Council. And ideally, this money would help to pay for some initial pilot costs or pre-pilot activities so we could launch a fetch-in pilot here, a small one. It would not be 4Cs, and this is one of the things I said from the beginning. In terms of the work, my goal is to get this money out to help the community. 4Cs is not taking money for running things here. So in terms of the fetch-in support, the intention is to grant that to people who are in a place to actually start a fetch-in. The next the next step with that is Jennifer Mayman and I have talked. We will get a initial meeting together to talk about fetch-in needs and fetch-in people who might be interested and eligible in doing a pilot, and I will help get that money into the hands again of agencies and programs who would be part of a pilot or be able to use the money in a pre-pilot activity so that it would hopefully by September be in a state of readiness to either receive more funding or be scalable. The second thing is family navigation, research and design. It's another priority that has been recognized very highly. So, Oscar, we were supposed to have translation, and our translators have not shown up. So we will have to do something about that after the fact. Sorry, it was all arranged, but it fell through, I guess. I don't know. So family navigation is what is a high priority for the county, and there's been a lot of talk about it. So I would like to use the money to have a consultant look at, do research and make design recommendations for what a robust family navigation system here in San Mateo County could really look like and what the needs are and how it could meet them, and then climate resiliency grants. So the goal was to fund things that were high priority, already in progress, where there could be movement within the less than a year we have to expend the money, and it would lend itself well to what the intention of the planning grants are. Then there's the unfunded work under Catalyst. So we'll be assisting with the steering committee recruitment once Santa Clara County Office of Education, with our help, comes out with criteria and a nominations form. We will help make sure that it is distributed widely, and we will help get those committees seated. We will be sharing information about SMC ECE programs and initiatives. And this is something that I hope others will be doing also. So Elise, if I may call you out by name here, one of the areas in the work plan is supporting friends, family, neighbors, and there's going to be work groups that Santa Clara will establish to help that. Yeah. Again, Oscar, we tried, we had it set up, it fell through, and there's really nothing we can do at this point. I'm very sorry. We will look to make sure this is available in other languages somehow after this meeting is over. Yes. So the steering committee is going to be representatives from all 4 counties, and that is really, again, the group that's going to be taking the work that is being fed to them from the 4 county consortia to package it into things that can have legs. And then foresees the ongoing participation and support of the county office in achieving their workloads, work plan goals. All right, I think it's the last slide, right, Elmer? So, what are the next steps, and where will opportunities for participation come in? Next steps are to execute the MOU. So we actually have an agreement in place. with Santa Clara County Office of Education to get the funded activities going. And again, with Family Child Care Home Education Network, that's going to start with a community meeting. We're going to assist County Office of Ed in Santa Clara with getting the steering committee and maybe the advisory committee seated. And then they will move on to looking at how the other areas of the work plan can be achieved. Excuse me. So with that, and if people want the slides to come back, they can, but Elmer, if you would stop sharing, we can have a discussion. Oh, hello, all you people. Know you were all here. Okay, is there potentially anyone who can say in Chinese what I've been saying about the translation?
David, it looks like some of your interpreters are there. It says interpreter by somebody's name.
Ah, Florence. Florence is Mandarin. Great. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Florence, could you please unmute and explain to people how they could join in Mandarin at this
First
late
of all,
point?
hello, could you mind turning on the interpreter function and then assign me as an interpreter so I can have access to the channel? Because right now, I'm not assigned and the interpreter channel hasn't been turned on.
Are you able to take care of that?
Hey, Florence.
Maybe from your side, you need to click on the globe and press interpretation. There you can find the box interpreter 1 and you can enter my name, press English into Chinese. Would you be able to navigate that?
Yeah, Florence, I made you co-host. I'm not seeing the globe.
If I am a co-host, then I'm afraid I cannot assign myself as an interpreter. Oh,
Yeah, and it says enabled language interpretation, so that should be
wait,
set up for
hold
you.
on.
It is on now.
It's on now.
Florence, are you enabled? And again, everyone, I'm very, very sorry that this was not properly set up beforehand.
Now that the interpretation is on, Florence would be speaking in the Chinese channel. And
Okay.
we won't hear her in the main English channel.
Okay. So, for people who are just joining in Chinese, I am sorry that this was not available earlier. We had tried to arrange access from the beginning, and we had technical problems which were out of our control. So we're going to continue now. We have 20 minutes remaining, and I would like to answer, if I could, any questions that people have.
Hi, David. I had a
Hey,
question.
Diane. Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh my God, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
My headphone is not working. About the fetching, under the 4Cs funded work for this Catalyst project. Number one is fetching support for pilot or pre-pilot activities. A little bit
Yes.
more about what that means. Like, what does? And I'm sorry, I don't have the work plan, so I'm looking forward to you sending it out. But I just wanted to hear a little bit more about what does that level mean? The fetching one.
Okay. I'm not sure at what level you're asking. So what fetch-ins are is a way that state contracted programs can allocate slots to family childcare. So it's a different subsidy program. It's the direct state contracts. And at this point, family childcare in San Mateo County are not eligible to have that kind of subsidized slot in their home. So this pilot would allow a program to take some of their state contracted slots, even if it's just one or two for a pilot. Thank you, Liz. And have that slot be in a family childcare home. It allows them higher subsidy rate. There are also a lot of requirements that come along with it, which is why it can be difficult. But the idea for this would be to provide money to help a program that wanted to start a fetch-in that would help them to get that going. So that even if it's like I said, and fitting in with the intent of this whole project, even if it's just a pilot, we would be able to have something established here that could perhaps grow and could be part of a regional plan, perhaps. But that would be, again, what our process and what we learned and what we were able to do would be fed to the steering committee and the Santa Clara County Office of Education so they can take a look and see if there are other opportunities to put this forward or if there's interest in other counties within the consortia or within the region to continue with this kind of work.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that those counties that don't have a fetching will get one. It's just to try out those activities.
Yeah, no. This is San Mateo. And there are fetch-ins in other counties, I believe. But we have not been able to establish one here. And there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of planning, a lot of issues, a lot of so I mean it's not perfect. It's not a panacea. But it is a way that family childcare can participate in a subsidy system that they have not been able to participate in the past. And the state support of different types of contracts varies greatly. So if we can show that we can implement a family childcare home, and again, not foresees the royal we can implement a family childcare home education network here in San Mateo County, and it's viable and feasible, then there may be opportunities to carry that work forward. Are there other questions?
I have a question, David.
Good.
Hi.
Thanks, Haley. Hi.
In terms of, you said some of the money could be for the climate resilient grant. So
Yes.
I applied for the first load of funding and was not successful. Would
Yes.
my application still be eligible, or would it be something that I would have to reapply? Will you go
So
back?
I don't know, and Christine's here. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not, so I'm just going to go ahead and say things, Haley.
Okay.
What we have decided is not to reissue a whole new application to try to fund more family childcare. So we are looking at taking available funding and using the applications that we already have, that people already worked hard on to fund more of those.
Okay. Thank you.
Where's Padilla? Am I fired? Can you fire me? Would you want to? Um, so yeah, that's the intent.
And then I wanted to make one more comment in terms of answering what Jane was asking. I was part of the leadership group that was looking into the fetch-ins, and we did
Mhm.
work with, there was Liz, Marshall, I'm trying to think who else was on our team. So we were
Tanisha. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So we were trying to in the next CCPC rollout kind of information session for the family childcare providers of all the information that we gathered from the other counties of what they're already doing. So we put a plan together of what other cities are already doing so that we could implement it and see if the family childcare providers here in our city were ready to go ahead and do it. So there's a lot of work that's been done and a lot of things that we don't really have to start from ground zero, because it was just a case of really cutting and pasting, because why reinvent the wheel if somebody's already doing it successful. So there is a lot of stuff that's already in place to look at the fetch-ins, and I think a lot of it was looking at the funding and having a certain position to go in and support those programs.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. And that's one of the reasons it made sense. We used to have some funding to at least look into it. And then, because you guys did the leadership program and took it upon yourselves, the planning continued. So now that we can take some funding that could be useful and actually moving it a little bit, we'll see what we can get done. So, I mean, it's great that the groundwork is there. This grant was not to start things from scratch and then have them end in September. This was again to look at what can be moved further.
And just to chime in, we'll be bringing together I don't know what we're going to call it, a fetch and work group, but essentially to understand all the work that's already been done and then figure out what next steps we need to take to really move forward with this. So Haley, I'll be reaching out to you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Anything? All right. Then will not keep you here. Um, if I have to do this presentation with no audience to have it translated fully, we will do it. And again, I apologize to the Mandarin speakers who couldn't hear the beginning of this meeting, and I apologize to anyone who wanted to have heard it in Spanish, but that will be corrected. All right. Thank you all for being here. More to come.
Thanks, David.